Hi everyone. I haven't made a video in way over a week, and so this afternoon I've come in, and so I just thought I'd make a few of my little videos because it may be another week or two before I get back even to make another one. What I'm going to tell you about is that our garden. You know, this has been the funniest weather here in Oregon that we've had in a long, long time, and even it came out in the newspaper the other day that it has been several decades ago since they can remember a summer like this in the Willamette Valley. In fact, it stated we had no summer this summer. And just like I said, we only had a couple of weeks of summer, and everybody tried to die during that time. It was 70 and 80, and it finally, a couple 3 days, got up in the 90s, but it only lasted 2 weeks, and it was all gone. Up until then, we had very cool nights, and days was pretty cool too. And so anyway, that made everything late this year. Our garden was at least 6 weeks late. Now, we got our garden planted on the same day, at the same time, as we always do, but still yet, it being so cool, they just didn't grow and didn't flourish. So right now, we're selling tomatoes, and we're right in the middle of our tomato crop. But see, now it's going to turn cold again. We've never had a summer, but then all at once they said, well, we've got an Indian summer. And for about a couple of weeks here, we've had about 70 and up to 82, 83. And at night it was in the 50s. So, it was good, warmer weather than what we had. And that's only lasted a couple of weeks or so. So during that time, our tomatoes has really been getting ripe and coming on good. And so I have sold a lot of my veggies. I've sold everything in my garden, and I have canned and I have froze things up and everything, and I've canned about 80 quarts of tomatoes so far, and I've made about 30 quarts of salsa. And the kids tell me that I need to make some more salsa. They don't care about me putting up any more just the tomatoes, but they want me to make some more salsa. Because since I made the salsa, they've only gone through about 4 of the quart jars of them already. So my husband was telling me I'm going to have to watch my salsa real good, or I'll be out. If I don't watch them boys, they'll have that salsa eat within the next couple of months that I've made. It won't even last the winter. So anyway, I've sold quite a bit. In fact, today, after I got back from the coast, I opened up my store. I call it my store. I've got it inside one side of the garage. We've got a double garage. So on one side, right at the opening, I've got a couple of long tables, and then with my plastic tomatoes and stuff, setting tomatoes with the plastic containers with the tomatoes inside, and the squash and the cabbages. Now my cabbage is running a little big. I got a cabbage out there now that's a 10-pound head of cabbage. A woman yesterday bought an 8-pound one from me. They'd like to have them a little smaller, but right now we're in the largest ones. I think the smallest cabbage that I sold this year was about 6.5 pounds. So, my cabbage are pretty large. I've had some really, really giant ones in the years past, but this year they are in there in a good size. And anyway, that's what I've been doing here at the house. And when some days I really don't feel like doing anything, but I can't let anything go to waste. No, I mean, like we pick the tomatoes, we put them out there, and if the people don't come by and they don't get them, then we have to do something with them, so either I make salsa or we can them. The largest amount of tomatoes that I have sold at one time this year has been 45 pounds. So one person came and took 45 pounds of tomatoes they were going to can. And would you like to know the least amount one buyer come by and got? Less than one tomato. And it weighed about a half a pound. I sell my tomatoes at 75 cents a pound. And I have got people coming from all over here. I never know when they're going to come. Some days, it's really, really rare that a day that goes by that nobody comes, but there has been a couple, 3 days that there has been nobody come. And then the most that I have sold in one day has been $90-some worth. And so that's just the way it goes. One day I only sold $1.50 worth. I sold 2 pounds of tomatoes that day. But there, like I said, there's some days that there's been a few days that nobody else has come by. But I've had some since I've been home. We went to the coast and we've been home this afternoon. We never got home until 2:30 or so. And I opened up like I said, the little veggie store out there, and it wasn't 30 minutes, and a person come by and all they wanted was $2 worth of tomatoes, but $2 is $2. But now, yesterday, before we left, there's a lady come by and took $5, and I don't know what Philip and him sold after I left. But then the day before, I didn't have nobody to come by hardly until in the afternoon, and then I had somebody come by and they bought $7 worth, and then within 45 minutes a gal come by and bought $10 and $10.25 worth of veggies. But she bought cabbage, she bought squash, she bought tomatoes, she bought the bell peppers, she just bought just a variety of stuff, but it cost, I sold $10.25 worth there. So, anyway, it doesn't make us any money, I'm going to tell you that's for sure. Because a garden, to bring in the soil for a garden, you have to bring in new soil and get new soil and throw out there. You got to buy lime, you got to lime the garden, you got to, then this fall when we did, we'll put out clover. We'll get this clover and we'll throw it out there and let it grow where we can toil it in. And we get this barley hay and we spread that all out. Plus we get a certain kind of sawdust that my husband gets and throws out. And then up here they sell this black soil like for gardens, and he'll go up there. It's really rich in nutrients and minerals and stuff, and he goes up there and he gets a couple of 3 trailer loads of that and throws it on the garden. And so by the time you add that all in, all of that is very expensive. And then by the time you get your potting soil, or potting for potting the little plants and stuff, and we seed every plant that we grow. We grow them ourselves here. And then when they get big enough, and they get 3 or 4 leaves on them and about 2 or 3 inches high, then we have to take them out of that and we put them in our 2-inch pots. And we then when they outgrow the 2-inch pots, then they go in to either the ½ gallon or gallon pots, and all of those has got to have good soil, and they've got to have the fertilizer or whatever we use. We use Osmocote to put down as a fertilizer, and it's very, very expensive. And Well, then it goes into the greenhouse. Then you got to keep them watered. You got to watch for the bugs and stuff like that. And we do not put poisons or sprays on ours. For aphis and a lot of stuff, we use just soap that you do dishes and stuff with. So, anyway, we do not put poisons or sprays on it. So that is what we do. So I just wanted to tell you a little about how we do our garden and how our garden's coming along. And now our great big tomatoes are finally starting to get ripe after all this length of time. By this time of the year, the tomatoes, any other year, would be almost gone. We wouldn't hardly have a tomato out there. And like I said, right now we're getting to be in the middle of our tomato season, and now they said tomorrow it's going to start turning cold, and it's going to get down to 39 and in the 40s at night, and it's not going to get up over 60 or 61 or 62 during the day, so it's going to be rather cool. So that's going to slow things down. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye now, and God bless all of you and keep you, and this is my little blog or talk about our garden. Maybe it'll interest some, and maybe it won't interest nobody. Bye now, and God bless.